The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For the last 12 years, we've had in Nova Scotia an invaluable environmental roadmap which has legislatively required us to do some very important things. Here are three. Reduce mercury emissions to no more than 35 kilograms by 2020. Increase the amount of money spent by the people of the province on locally produced food to 20% by 2020. And reduce solid waste disposal to no more than 300 kilograms per person per year. Mr. Speaker, with the overdue 5-year review of the Environmental Goals and Sustainable Prosperity Act nowhere in sight, will the Premier tell the House if these targets have been met?
The Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, the roundtable would have that information. I can get that for the honourable member and have it presented to him.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Mr. Speaker, these targets are extraordinarily important. Nova Scotia has one of the highest mercury levels in the country, and we know that our agricultural industry is contributing $500 million every year to our provincial economy, and in a way which doesn't have the heavy environmental footprint of bringing food in from great distances. And as far as solid waste is concerned, we know we have a recent report commissioned by the government that says we've got way too many landfills and that our solid waste management is not what it should be. So, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask the Premier, does he support the need to have hard, strong, unmovable targets in these areas of mercury levels and local agriculture and solid waste?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I said, the roundtable would have that information. They're reviewing it. We'll get it to the honourable member. But to his question, absolutely, Mr. Speaker. 53% GHG reductions below 2005 levels. All Nova Scotians should be proud of that work, Mr. Speaker. We're continuing to ensure that we get to net zero, Mr. Speaker, in this province. Piece of legislation that's been formed. We're a leader when it comes to waste diversion, Mr. Speaker. We need to continue to make sure that we continue to lead the country in many of these files, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Here, Mr. Speaker, is the target that is uppermost in the minds of the people of the province. We know that global warming in excess of 1.5 degrees will mean these things: greater drought, more extreme temperatures, higher sea level rise, more extreme species loss, increased ocean temperatures, increased loss of marine, coastal ecosystems, decrease in annual catch for marine fisheries, increased risk to livelihoods, food security, water supply, human security and economic growth, increased impacts on human health, including increased risks from diseases like malaria, amongst others, many of which are going to be a lot more extreme for coastal areas and coastal populations like ours. Does the Premier grasp that it is a life and death imperative that global warming be kept within 1.5 degrees?
The Honourable Premier.
Absolutely, Mr. Speaker. That's why we have the most aggressive targets in the country, Mr. Speaker. It's why we will continue to have those targets, Mr. Speaker. We also see, Mr. Speaker, we need economic growth and job creation. In Efficiency Nova Scotia alone, there's 1,400 jobs associated with our collective march towards ensuring that we green up this province, Mr. Speaker. We see more opportunities. We continue to lead the nation, Mr. Speaker. And it's my hope, Mr. Speaker, that other Canadian provinces will join in the fight that Nova Scotia has been when it comes to dealing with climate change. At the same time, Mr. Speaker, I hope they can catch up to us when it comes to growing the economy.